like a battery, electricity. Can't get enough, feel the wind blowing full speed. Come on and follow me. I'm doing what I want when I want to.
Welcome back, guys.
This is our Aussie Allrounder walkthrough video. The purpose of the build was, and the outline given to Jeremy, we need a cape boat. So 5 metre mark, open boat, so it's big enough to get offshore and yet small enough to punch up into mangroves. If you've got a centre console, sometimes you just cannot get, they're too high to get into mangrove areas, due to the size of these boats at 5 metres. 5 metres, I think, is the great mid-range offshore inshore boat, and that's why we worked on this hull and this design with Jeremy from JB Plate Boats. If you haven't seen our build video, go back, have a look at that one, but stick around. So one of the really important factors of this build was the off-road trailer. So we're going to tow this thing up the Cape this winter. It's got to be capable. We've got to be able to get this big Chev down on beaches, drop it in, small creeks, off creek banks. So we wanted the front mounted winch to be able to pull that boat back out if we can't get it out. Physically scull drag the thing out from 30 metres away if necessary. The drop down wheel. And we need to be able to carry some additional fuel. Fuel for the truck or fuel for the boat. So we'll start up the front and work from the ground up. So we ran with a 245 7016s. They're a good mid-range, and it was a bit of a compromise, or it's a balance of travel height and launch height. It's great to go for 35s or big wheels and tyres, but for clearance, for off-road stuff, but it makes it hard to put your boat in the water and get it out again. So I think this is a good compromise, about the 31-inch mark. We wanted a drop-down wheel, and that's for beach work. The Chev's pretty heavy, and I'm worried about getting too close to that water when you got real soft sand. It's okay on a hard beach, low tide, things like that, but just wanted that option to be able to pull this out. So it's got, Jeremy's done a drop down wheel, so this whole thing comes complete with a disc. So if you do have a flat tyre, or say you do blow a bearing on the trailer, you can pull this whole thing off and replace the whole thing. You're not sitting on the side of the road doing bearings and whatnot. So you got 3 bolts holding that in place, and then this whole unit just pivots down and rolls on that axle. So theoretically, it saves you using max tracks under your gooseneck to keep it out of the sand. The whole trailer just stays in position and locks back in those bolts. Pretty quick and simple. Yeah, great system, and it's something that I've wanted on a trailer, off-road trailer, for a long time. Certainly something that's going to save you a lot of problems if you do get stuck. So I put the big electric winch on the front, and that is to scull drag this thing, big unit, up a beach, up a mud bank, whatever's needed, it'll pull it up. Now, we were toying with the idea of running a battery on the trailer. Didn't like leaving a battery on the trailer for various reasons. So I've run the power off the truck. I was also toying with an idea of putting the winch on the truck, and we've come up with a different system where I've just run power from the truck to the winch, and I've got a cable for that. It's long enough to cope with the extended drawbar as well, so it just comes off here and plugs into the big Anderson there. These things pull a bit of power, so if you're doing the same, make certain that you got your car running when you got that winch going. Jeremy built these awesome stairs for us. That's mainly for Snaz because she's getting a bit older. Up the business end here, we've got the articulated gooseneck, and that's all for off-road, but also for that extended drawbar, which I'll take you around and have a look at in a minute. We got these stairs here. These come up awesome. Jeremy did a bloody good job of these. So all covered in their U-DEK. It's just so easy to launch this boat. Seriously, with those stairs, you just spring straight up there, all grip, no slip, and makes it simple. Before we get up into the boat, I'll keep getting around this trailer, I'll show you a few other little bits. One other little request we had was the carry extra fuel or water for those remote trips. So Jeremy's managed to fit 3 jerrys down each side, and they're tucked into nice little boxes, can't be punched with stones, and that's awesome. So that's like another 150 litres of fuel we're carrying, or water. Haven't really mastered a way to make that theft proofed yet. Definitely got cables through them. Certainly the cans are theft proof and tamper proof just with these cable ties through them. At least you know if someone's been in them. So just up on the passenger side here of the trailer, we've got an Anderson getting charged through our DC charger. So that's while we're driving. It runs up into the electrics. I'll tell you more about that when we get up in the boat. The main feature of this side of the trailer is the big extension drawbar. So this is how easy this extended drawbar is. Snez has never done this before. First time ever, literally. And it's pretty simple, and we've made it that way just through design. Jeremy and I came up with this, mainly his design of course, but little tweaks just to make it that a little bit easier. Cotter pin, little handle. Have a go at this. So that ball there swings around into the hitch, and it gives us another 2.5 meters of travel, just for those deep launches or to keep the truck out of the water. But yeah, it's a weapon. So while we're up the front of this boat, I just want to show you this little steady spotlight. That's for those nights you're coming home blind in the dark. Awesome steady lights. We've got them on a lot of our rigs on the big boat as well. But yeah, they're a good thing. This winch area got winch post area got really congested, but Jeremy did a great job of just fitting it all in there. He even had to cut the winch handle down on the manual winch just so it fit, and it didn't get your fingers on this. So it didn't hit the boat, it didn't hit this. Yeah, so he does a bloody good job. He had to get rid of the step here at the top, just so the manual winch handle fit, and even cut that down a couple, about 40 mil. Something Jeremy also came up with was the load binder. Love them, great in principle. We haven't tried and tested this yet, so 6 months time we'll be doing videos with this boat in the bush, and we'll test out whether, or we'll establish whether they're any good on those corrugated roads. If you've had any experience with them, please comment below. Load binder, and I've coupled this up just with the clip-ons, but yeah, so theoretically can't come loose, but it should stay tight. So she's a 2-ton trailer, and it's just got the overrider brakes. They work really good too, by the way. He does a great job of setting these up. I can't speak highly enough of Jeremy at JB Plate Boats. Done an awesome finish on everything here. He's got that's our other side jerrys down there. He's used that U-DEK on all surfaces just for non-skid, and it's really good gear. If you're putting foam flooring on anything, use U-DEK by Ultralon Australia. It's just, the quality is second to none. It's honestly the best stuff on the market in Australia, and it's so grippy. Every surface he's done. So we've got our load binders on the rear of this as well. I'm toying with different ideas for securing the rear of the boat. I don't know how they'll go on corrugated roads. Before we jump up in the boat, just want to show you some of the stuff down the below here on the trailer. So this is how it's self-centering, but we've also got a pipe that goes into that slot there that comes up here on the motor. I didn't bring that pipe with me to show you guys, unfortunately. I left that at home, but for that serious off-road stuff, I actually stole that idea off All 4 Adventures. Thanks guys. I saw one of their trailers in town the other day and copied their idea. I figure if it works for them, it'll work for us. So there's our Raymarine RV-100 tranny. Obviously bung and our salt water pickup. So this salt water pickup, we made this and modified it so that it can't fail. Like, there's no plastic in the boat, it's all aluminium tubed and comes up above deck height, so nothing can fail. Like a hose clamp can't come off and sink the boat. You're not relying on a bung, you know, something simple like that from sinking the boat.
Hey guys, look what just arrived, our order from Free Flow Club. So this is a 5.5 kilo and this is a 3.5 kilo. With the 3.5 kilo, you can stack them 3 high, and this 5.5 kilo, you stack them 2 high. We're going to use these for the big boat and the little ones for the little boat, which is ideal for our little esky on the little boat. Head over to Free Flow Club and use our code OBM for a 10% discount.
Engine, you know us, we're Yamaha people. Bit like Holden and Ford sort of stuff of the old days, but we got Yammies on the big boat. If you haven't seen our other videos, go check that out. We've got a Noosa 2400 with F130s on the back of it. Love them. We got 500-600 hours on them now and haven't let us down. When I was thinking with this boat, I originally wanted F70 because they're the lightest in the class, but we were starting to push some decent weights with the fridges and whatnot we got inside this thing. So we went for an F90. They're about 40 kilos heavier, but this thing's awesome and pushes this along nicely, about 30 knots. Jeremy and I tested this in the creek the other day, 31, 32 knots. We played around with some props since then, and yeah, she's about a 32 knot boat, so it's definitely going to do what we want to do. I did want to stick to that 70 just for the less weight, and I've had them before actually. I've had multiple Yamaha motors over the years. They're a good thing, but a mate of mine's got F70 on his. He loves it, and they are a good motor. Certainly a lot smaller in size. Another build restriction for this boat when we did it, if you haven't seen our build video, it had to be under 6.5 from prop to tow ball, and that's to fit in our garage, just a standard house garage. One thing I never considered, we got the length right, I never considered height. Luckily, when I first brought it home, I thought, oh man, this is not even going to fit in, it's too high. So it won't fit in a standard garage 2.1 with the motor up, but so you've got to lower the motor down just to get it in under the door. But yeah, one thing I never considered when building this boat, so don't forget that if you're making one for a confined shed or something, your height. It'd be worse if it was on bigger wheels too, by the way. But yeah, F90, awesome engine. All right, let's jump up in this thing. So swing down dive ladder. So starting up the pointy end again, we went Minn Kota for our bow motor. 80 pounds, 60 inch, and it's heaps. Haven't taken it, use it in rough stuff offshore yet, certainly in calm water offshore, no dramas at all. And on about 2 on a scale of 1 to 10 on the motor, it only pulls about 2.5 amps, running a 24 volt system for that. And yes, only pulls about 2.5 amps, which is great. Awesome little thing. Haven't done much work with these before. Still got some learning to do, but we love it. So just went with the Railblazer accessories just for the only accessory we went Railblazer was our anchor light. It's just up on the bow here and just pops in there.
So this is what we keep under the hatch.
So this is a good little design. No water can get in here. It's got a fairly tight press fit on it. Any water that gets on the deck just runs down here and onto the floor. Same around the back there, onto the floor.
Okay, so this is our Brass Monkey 36 litre freezer. It's dual, so you can either have it all freezer or fridge. And those 3.5 kilo free flow ice cube blocks would fit perfectly in here if you want to freeze one in here. So as you can see, you can just pull this out and easily freeze it. So if you're doing a trip out, you can freeze your ice cube the night before for your esky if you were going somewhere else for the day and you weren't taking your boat with you on your end up the Cape.
So our battery system up the front here for this little 36 litre fridge, the little brass monkey, it's all 24 volt. The whole front of this boat's a 24 volt system. It's independent from the back of the boat. So tucked in up in there are two Invicta 105 amp lithium batteries. Invicta, the best on the market in my opinion. Running Invicta down the back as well for a start battery. It's a hybrid, I think it's an 80 amp hybrid battery. So the benefit, they're not cheap, but they are the best on the market. If you're doing a specialised build, that's what we've used. We think they're the best. So we're not experts in the field, but I've run these in my truck for 5 years, no problem at all. So Invicta, they're 105, two 12s linked together a bit, so it's a 24 volt system. It seems to be enough to run our Minn Kota, which I said earlier, only pulls about 2 amps. Yeah, if you run it flat out, it pulls a lot more. The fridge, it's only pulling about 2 amps, not even, so it's enough for what we want to do. But also got the running a solar charger so that if we're away and we're parked up somewhere, I can plug a blanket in just to keep power to this fridge. Also, in addition to that, I haven't taken any charge from the engine for this system because I just don't think that we're going to be running long enough offshore trips to be able to punch the power back into the unit. So I figured that the most this travel wise will be driving, and while we're driving I can take charge from the car into that system and it'll punch 40 amps back in whilst you're driving, or a potential 40 amps. So a couple of hours trip and you're probably back to full. But it's all working great for us at the moment. Once again, it's a brand new boat and I'm sure we may have a hiccup, in which case I'll drop another video down the track. But so far so good, and fingers crossed. They were certainly a tight little squeeze up in there. Just got a bit of safety gear, bollards, your V sheets, etc. So that's our solar input if we ever need it. So Nick, local auto electrician, wired all this up, front and rear, the whole electrical system. He's a local guy, knows what he's doing, and yeah, certainly tweaked a few things and ideas that I had as well. So you can also plug it into 240 volt if you want to, with a Victron charger. I've also got the Victron Smart Shunt, which is actually hidden in under those batteries. So all of this is Bluetooth on my phone. I can monitor the whole system, what's going in, what's going out. Victron gear, great stuff. Once again, I've used that in the truck.
What do they call it? A smart shunt?
Don't be such a smart shunt.
That's what we can call our boat. A smart shunt.
Every name I've come up with for this boat, I reckon we'd be banned off YouTube. So if you can think of a good name for this boat, it's not named yet, please comment below. And if you don't know of any of our videos, go back and have a look and check out the name of our Noosacat 2400. So as this is a middle-aged boat, this is one of our little key features for when you're casting off the deck here. Just something to, one of them OGs moments. But yeah, we come up with this design with Jeremy. It works well. Well, we haven't actually practiced using it on the water yet, have we?
No, but it looks like it's going to be a corker.
Looks like she's a goer, yeah. But yeah, so this little bar here, it just stores in around that fridge in under Snez's feet here and goes into the 2 sockets up the front.
It's easy as that. Pretty sturdy, eh? Tight. Did you measure it for me, for you?
So that's our little bull bar for the mangroves, but I think that'll work well. And just if you're going to fall, throw a lure and you get off balance, especially if you're in croc country, just gives you something to grab. It's about waist height, so also if you're fighting a fish, you can lean on it, lean back on it when you're casting. Just gives you something to stop you from going over the side. I think that's going to work well. The sockets were a good thing too, because when they're out of the boat, when that's not in place, water can go down that socket. Jeremy's made up an awesome little system. If you go back to our build video, we touch on that in there. Just to get the water out, it comes out the side of the boat through 2 glands, one each side. Did a great job. So pull it back in, we'll get that away and keep going.
It's quite easy, eh?
Liquids, we've got 120 litres on the floor. It was about 118 on first fill, but we filled it with Jeremy's car, so his toe ball height's a lot lower than mine. When I filled it, as it sits here now on my truck, she's 120 litres, so gives us a great range. It's about 300 nautical mile range. You never need it, I can't see, unless you camp somewhere for a month. But it's certainly peace of mind, 120 litres. In addition, you've got 75 each side down the, carting, fuel, water or diesel, whatever. And we've got 55 litres of fresh water, and Snez loves the fresh water on the boat. Always washing with fresh water, eh?
Get all the salt off you. Washing your hands all the time, getting the smelly fish off you.
So, lockable caps, and he's marked it so we have no mistakes. We run a little 60 litre Yeti esky up the front here. It sits just there, and we've got these flush mount hooks just to tie that down. So I don't know what you guys know about tinnies. Every time I've stacked 8 pots in the front of a tinny and go bashing down the creek, they always end up on top of you. So I insisted on Jeremy putting these tie down points in this tinny. All the pots go up the front here, and we just cross them over like that. Nice little ram mount for the Minn Kota heading sensor. GME VHF radio. It's a 1.8 metre antenna. Screws in there. Tested it out the other day. 10 miles, no problem at all. GME we're using, and we're using a little handheld. So we've hidden the main unit up under the gunnel. So those GME radios, they're all IPX6 or 7, I think. So they can take submersion, and it's just hidden down the back here in the corner. So I've got 2 seats, but 4 slots to put them in. I'm just going to move this one out of the way just so I can show you this side of the boat. So that's the GME radio. This is all IPX rated. We've got our basic switch system there. I just want to keep the electronics very simple, just so you can hose this out with no problems about things getting wet. Didn't want side console, just want it to be an open boat, and I think this is the most simplest way to do things. This is the ram mount. Check this out. This is for our Raymarine Axiom 2 Pro.
just while I think of it, when we go out and reef, we don't often wear life jackets because they're quite uncomfortable. But because I was in the creek the other day and it was the first time in the tenny, I put this one on, and this is a really good life jacket. I would highly recommend them. They're so comfortable, and they've got this, like, the other ones seem to rub on the back of your neck, but this is really, really smooth, and it's got a nice, like, almost like a terry toweling fabric on the back of it, which doesn't rub and doesn't itch your back of your neck. But yeah, if you're looking for a life jacket, these ones from Relaxin are quite good. I'd give it a go. Even if you just go in the shop and try it on, you'd see how comfortable they are.
So we plan on doing a fair bit of barramundi fishing, or hopefully. So we definitely put the rulers, one each side. My side's got a rule that goes to 120. On Stez's side, it's just a metre.
Yeah, but yours is not the correct size. Yours is Chinese size and mine's Australian standard. That one there's probably really only 80 centimetres. Made out that it's 120.
Nah, they're both 120. But that's done in that U-DEK. So if you want flooring, U-DEK by Ultralon Australia. Jeremy does all that too on his CNC router and does all the fitting and laying of it as well. So if you're in the market for a boat, hit up Jeremy, JB Plate Boats, just south of Bundy. And go back and have a look at our build video if you want more information on it, or give him a call. I might even pop his number down here. Does an awesome little weapon boat. I've had this out a couple of times. Haven't done anything really serious stuff yet in rough weather, but certainly had it 10 nautical offshore, no drama at all. It totally exceeded my expectations. I've had probably 6 boats in my career, spanning over the last 30 odd years. I've been in 2 boats that have sunk, so one in New Zealand, one here. One of the key features and most definite things I wanted was a free deck, self-draining deck. This boat has self-draining decks, so it'll save you. Both those times I was in a boat that sunk, water, wave hit over the arse of the boat, and bilge pumps will not keep up. If you cop a wave over your arse of your boat, a bilge pump will not pump it out before you sink. Having said that, this boat I put in a 2,500 gallon per hour bilge pump in the hope that if something bad happens, you have a breach of the hull, it'll work, do its thing. But self-draining decks, best way to resolve water coming onto your deck. This has got a really unique design. I'll jump back down and show you that in a minute. So we've been in some pretty tough stuff already, backing up into some decent wave action, and we've had pretty dry deck.
Yeah, hasn't been too bad.
Not any water on this deck at all. Nothing's come back up. Most scuppers let water back up the other way, but I'll show you this design when I hop out of here. So stick around for that. But while we're up in the boat, I'll show you what we've done with the pumps. So we've got both our deck washers and our freshwater pumps in that compartment. The freshwater pumps from the top of the tank down there, and outlet for the deck wash salt water is over here. Also got all our USB-Cs, USB-A points, USB-Cs, just for charging GoPros. Mainly USB-C 100 watt to power our Starlink Mini. So I don't know whether you guys have seen any of our other videos. We did a little Starlink Mini. If you're offshore up to 12 nautical miles, you've still got service, and that's really going to be super important up Cape York where you have no phone service at all. Just as a backup, there's not too many Coast Guards up there, so Starlink Mini, it's going to just sit up the front, plugged into our USB-C to power it. So yeah, works well. So down in the starboard corner here, we've got our start battery. It's the Invicta 80 amp hour. The good thing about these hybrid start batteries, they'll charge straight from your outboard, or in a car situation, or your car will charge it. They can take a bit of heat from a engine bay apparently. No heat in this example, but that outboard, nothing fancy, no DC to DC charges. It punches power straight into it, and they have a reserve button. And that reserve button, I think, is about 800 cranking amps or something like that. Well more than enough to power this motor. If the main part of that battery dies, we've got a backup situation. We've got a reserve. So they're a good thing in Victor. So there's our bilge pump and our fresh water intake. Oh, sorry, no, that's the salt water intake. Salt water and bilge pump hose. Bilge pump comes out and pumps out the back here. And it's located down under there. Everything's waterproof here. That's a waterproof seal. Waterproof gland on the motor's componentry. And we've been backing up into waves and there's simply no way water comes in here. If it does, it can get out these holes through the self-draining decks. Wanted somewhere decent to be able to travel with our rods. I don't like putting rods in the car. They do fit in the rooftop canopy up there, but it's a pain. You just want something simple and that works, and I think this is going to work well. May not have enough rods though. I can only store 3 like this. So 2 barrow rods and maybe something a bit heavier for trolling. But we've used the rail blazer system. They look like they're a good thing. We've made up 3 racks for them and it should work. And so far on some decent tracks, they haven't moved, they haven't rubbed or nothing of any significance. Might put little booties over the reels if we're doing a long Cape York trip, just for that miles of corrugated stuff for the handles and such. But no, they don't appear to be getting knocked around, put it that way.
It's pretty easy, eh?
So we're running the 1358 14K prop alloys. Bought 2 of them, got a spare just in case when we're away from home. You can do a prop, we can swap her out. That one we found the best, got most of the revs. Boat, whenever you buy a boat, they're the lightest they'll ever be when you first buy them, because all you do is add shit to them. So we dropped back a pitch just to give it that top end. One last thing I wanted to show you was these scuppers. Great design. There's every boat I've had with self-draining decks, scupper system, they've in a plate boat particularly, they usually let water in. These don't, or they haven't yet, and I believe it's because of this awesome design. So these things are in the center of the boat, so that's them there. Now usually a scupper's out on this corner, so because they're in the center, they don't get the wash of the boat doing this. Now if that boat was going this way, it'd cup more water in it that way, but because they're closer to the pivot point, they don't get water going back into them as much. And this little design here, it just works. So that tube's about 75 by 50, say, roughly, and it runs down the side of the boat here into the pod, and then 45-degree angle and down and comes out here. So yeah, if that was just straight, as the boat pivots over or keels over, that's low and would get water in it. So just a great design, having those 2 in the center, closer to that center point, so that it doesn't rock, or as it rocks it doesn't let water in. This boat's all 4mm plate alloy. The only part that's not 4mm is the casting deck. That sort of inbuilt interior stuff's lighter, but solid little weapon, all foam filled right throughout. Didn't go level flotation, that would take in the side pockets and such, but Jeremy certainly can do that if you want that style of build, something in survey or whatever. Our next video, we're going to take this for a run crabbing. show you that bit of action. So this is going to cook up a chili mud crab, and we're just going to test this out. We're going to see if you can push up into mangroves with it, and we're going to do a few trips offshore, maybe down to Fraser Island and the Cape this winter. Hope you've enjoyed this one, guys, and any questions, comment below. Thanks for tuning back in. If you haven't seen the build on it, jump back an episode, have a look at that one. It's a pretty long video, but you'll see what goes into one of these. It'd be super handy if you're in the market for one of these boats. I would have loved to have had a build video on this particular boat. Would have loved to see what goes into them. Well, thanks for watching this walkthrough video, guys. It's the first one we've done. We've been asked for a long time to do a walkthrough on our Noosa Cat 2400. Might do one of them in the future. See how this one's accepted. If you want one on our Noosa Cat, please comment below. Gives us an idea whether we'd do one, I guess. These things take a bit of time. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Hopefully it's informative. A few things I've missed out is fuel efficiency. When this thing's on 20 knots, it's still 1.6 nautical miles per litre. So very fuel efficient. We're keen to get this boat out. Fraser Island, the Cape, yeah, even locally. There's a few places we want to take it locally. We haven't been able to take our big boat. So yeah, well, thanks for watching, guys.
And we'll see you in a fortnight showing you some crabbing. Thank you.
See you then.
Bye.